Paul Ovens, Presidential Diamond with doTERRA in Perth, Western Australia, and today we're going to be talking to you about the ranks in doTERRA and also the compensation plan, so to demystify that and help you to understand how to reach those ranks and of course what the earnings are at each of those ranks. So we'll start out at the very beginning. The very first thing for us to understand is that all the products in doTERRA have a point value, or what we call PV, and there's also another thing I'm going to be talking about called OV, or organisational volume, and what that is the collection of the value of your own order and the order of everybody below you in your team. So that's your OV, or your organisational volume. So the very first one is the rank of manager after we first start out, and that's 500 OV. So your order and the order of the people below you reaching 500 overall volume in any one calendar month means you make the rank of manager, and at that level generally the total commission payments are about $50 on average globally. The second rank is director, and that's 1,000 OV, and at this point your income goes to $75 US, and that's the global average of all people or all wellness advocates worldwide who are at that rank. That's the average commission earnings that they make. The next rank to move on to is what's called executive, and that's 2,000 in overall volume, and at this point you're at $200 US as your average income for the month. After that we go to 3,000 overall volume, which is the rank called elite, and at this point it's $300 US per month is the average income. Now beyond elite, where the placement or structure of your team isn't critical to you to be able to make your rank or achieve that rank each month, we move on to what's called premier, and this is for the very first time we need to have actually some structure as well as volume. So at premier we need to have an organisational volume of 5,000, but two teams which we hold personally hold the enrolment for the person at the top of each of those teams of 2,000 in volume each, or two executive legs. At this point we're making $600 US is the global average. Beyond that we move to silver, and this is when we actually need to add a third team to our structure. So 3 elites, or 3 lots of 3,000 in overall volume, so 3 teams of elite makes us silver, and the global average earnings is $2,216 per calendar month for the ranks of silver. The rank after this is gold, and at gold it's when we need to basically move those 3 elites underneath of us when we were a silver on to being the rank of premier, so helping them to get to that point of 5,000 in overall volume each, with 2 executive legs, with each of the executive legs enrolments being personally held by the premier. Now the average income at this point of gold is $4,900 US per month. Beyond that we move on to platinum, and platinum is 3 silvers. So each silver, if we remember and go back, is having 3 personally enrolled elites under them, and 3 of those makes up the rank of platinum, and the average income for platinums is $8,900 per calendar month. After that is diamond, and it's adding a 4th leg for the very first time, so adding a 4th team at silver rank to get to diamond, and the average income at diamond is $17,083 per calendar month. After this we move on to blue diamond, and it's now we have to have 5 teams, or 5 legs in our team, all making the rank of gold each, and the average monthly income for a blue diamond is $38,500 US. And then the final rank, I guess, is presidential diamond, and this involves having 6 teams of the rank of platinum. So it's no small task, and of course the remuneration that goes with it is commensurate with the effort it takes to get to that rank. But once you get to that point of presidential diamond with 6 platinum leaders, the average monthly income is $112,750 US per month. So let's look now at the compensation plan and how that's broken down and the different ways that doTERRA rewards us for the different activities that we undertake. There's a couple of more definitions that I'd like to cover off first before we get into that. One of them is called PO3, or what we call power of 3, and that's one of the bonuses that we're going to talk about. So when you see PO3 written anywhere, that's what it's referring to. And the last one is another one. We all know what LRP is, or loyalty rewards program, but for what I'd suggest is to make it easy for people to understand all of these terms. They can get a little bit confusing when we talk about PV, OV, PO3 and LRP. People get very confused when they're first starting out with doTERRA. So keep it pretty simple, explain them with, in long verbiage, so power of 3 bonus, or loyalty rewards program is something that's a lot more effective. So doTERRA rewards us, and we get paid in two different ways or two different times. We get paid weekly for one of our commissions, and that's called Fast Start. Now the Fast Start period runs from Sunday to Sunday, and what Fast Start is it's a bonus that we receive when we enrol somebody new. So when you go out and you enrol someone new into doTERRA, you get paid 20% of what they spend in their first 60 days with doTERRA. So 20% of their PV converted into dollars or your local currency is what you get rewarded in their first 60 days with doTERRA. And typically that's their enrolment kit and probably their first monthly loyalty rewards order that you're going to get that bonus on. So the period is Sunday to Sunday. So anybody you enroll between this Sunday and next Sunday, you will get paid that bonus, and the bonus is paid each week. So on a Wednesday we get the payment. So you qualify by anybody you enroll from Sunday to Sunday, and the payment comes to you on a Wednesday, and that's credited to your AR balance on your back office, or if you prefer you can have doTERRA direct credit that into your bank account. One of the things that's critical to achieve the commission payments from doTERRA is to make sure that we always have a loyalty rewards template of at least 100 PV for our own personal order in place at all times. So we don't want to have a situation where you think, okay, I'll just make sure that I process my order before the end of the month, and it doesn't matter if my template at the moment is below 100 points. In actual fact, you're getting paid 4 times in that month with the weekly Fast Start commissions, and if you don't have your template set above 100 points, you won't actually get that weekly Fast Start commission. So it's critical that you make sure that at all times throughout the month, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all month long, you've got your order at 100 points or greater. So let's look at the 5 ways that we earn with doTERRA. One of the ones we haven't spoken about yet is retail profit. Now what this is that you could actually purchase the product at wholesale price yourself, and then maybe at a fete or fair or market or to someone that you know who wants to try out a product, you could sell it to them at retail, and of course you've made the difference between the wholesale and the retail price, which is 25%. The other alternative is that you can direct people by giving them the URL to your doTERRA replicated website, and they can go on there and purchase and shop online. They're purchasing at the retail price, and doTERRA then pays you as part of your monthly check the difference between the retail price that the customer paid and the wholesale price, which again is the 25%. So that's part of your monthly check that you get paid on the 15th. For us, we've never made a cent in retail profit. It's never been something of interest to us, because we're really interested in empowering people to have their own wholesale account and be able to have their products ordered from their own home and shipped to their own home, so that we're not having to handle that and create all that extra workload, I guess. So the second one is Fast Start, the third is Power of 3, the fourth is the uni-level compensation, and that's paid through 7 levels of depth in your organisation, so 7 layers of people or team members deep, and also the performance and leadership pools. So let's have a look at them one at a time. So Fast Start works by when you enrol someone, you get paid 20% of what they spend in their first 60 days. But Fast Start is also paid 3 levels above for the enroller of each of those 3 people. So as an example, if I enrolled somebody this month or this week, I would get 20% of what they spend on in their first 60 days. But the person that enrolled me gets 10% of what my new enrollee spends in their first 60 days. So the person that enrolled the person who enrolled me also gets 5%. So it goes 3 generations back from the new customer. And each of those levels gets that percentage in Fast Start credited to part of their monthly check. So that's Fast Start. Now let's move on to Power of 3. So Power of 3 is a bonus that helps you to set up the structure in your organisation and to place people effectively to be able to help you make best advantage of the compensation plan, but also to help you move through the different ranks in doTERRA. So when you have yourself and 3 people placed on your front line, now these 3 people don't have to be your own enrolments. They may have been placed there by your upline, but so long as there's yourself and 3 people on your front line with a minimum order of 100 PV for the month and a total group volume between the 4 of you of 600 PV, you'll receive a $50 bonus as part of your monthly commission check. Now Power of 3 also has multiple levels or layers, and when each of those 3 people on your front line achieve the same thing you did to get your $50 power of 3. So they have 3 people each on each of their front lines, and between them and their 3 on their front line, they have an overall group volume of 600 PV and a minimum 100 point order for each of those 4 people. And each of the 3 people on your front line have done that, you'll get a $250 bonus, and again, paid as part of your monthly commission check. Then when each of those 9 people all have the same thing again, so achieving their $50 power of 3 bonus by having 3 people on their front line all ordering their 100 points and a group volume of 600, so all 9 of them doing that, so that would be 27 people. Underneath of that, you'll receive a $1,500 bonus as part of your monthly commission check. And once you've filled out that structure down to the $1,500 level, you can actually have a second power of 3 and achieve that again. So 1,500 plus 50 or 1,500 plus 250, and ultimately 1,500 plus 1,500. In order to get the second power of 3 bonus paid, your personal order though needs to be 200 PV per month. So just watch out for that. Once you've achieved the $1,500 bonus, you would be able to achieve the second one once you change your order up to 200 PV for the month. So the third thing we're going to have a look at now is uni-level commission, and this is probably one of the ones that we get the most questions about, and there's a lot of challenge in understanding it, but let's see if we can break it down and simplify it for you. So we talked before about all the different ranks. From you start out, you're a wellness advocate or consultant, and the first rank we make is manager at 500 overall volume, and you're going to see on the table over my shoulder all of the different ranks going across the top of the table. So manager, director, executive, elite, Premier, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, Blue Diamond and Presidential Diamond. And the first row of figures on that table is the monthly PV or the monthly order that you have to make personally. And the second row is for the monthly overall volume requirement for each of those ranks. And if we look down now, we will actually see the qualified legs underneath of that. So for the first several ranks, manager, director, executive and elite, there's no qualifying leg requirement. So it's just based on volume at that point to make those ranks. And Premier is the first point at which we have those qualifying legs come into play. So 2 executive legs at Premier, 3 elite legs at Silver, and so on. Once we get down underneath of that in the table, we're going to start seeing all these figures there of 2%, 3%, 5% and so on. So how do we read this table? So level 1, they are the people that are on the front line of your organisation. So level 1, you get paid 2% of all the people that are on your front line, 2% of their order each month, whatever they might choose to spend, whether it's 5 PV or 500 PV and anything in between. Level 2, you achieve getting paid down to level 2 once you've reached the rank of manager, and you get 2% of the orders of the people on your front line, plus 3% of the value of the orders for the people on your second line in your organisation, and so on down. So at director, we're getting paid 3 levels deep, down to 5% on our third level. At executive, we're getting paid 4 levels deep in our organisation, so 2% on our first level, 3% on all the people on our second level, and 5% of the people on our third level, and 5% again for the people on our fourth level. At elite, we get paid down to our 5th level, so we're now getting 6% of the order volume or the order value of all the people on our 5th level. And then at Premier, we're getting paid down to level 6, so 6% of all the orders of the people on our 6th level. And from Silver onwards, all the ranks above Silver, so Gold, Platinum, Diamond, Blue Diamond and Presidential Diamond, are all being paid at the maximum levels of 7 levels deep in their organisation, and that's at 7%. So it's critical really to get yourself through these early ranks as quickly as possible onto Silver, where you're getting the maximum unit level. So everybody in your organisation down as far as 7 levels deep, you're getting paid all the commission you possibly can as far as unit level is concerned. Now, before we move on to one of the most challenging subjects as far as the compensation plan is concerned, which is dynamic compression and how that works, one of the quick reminders I like to give is how to make sure you're getting paid at your rank. And one of the things that can be a little bit of a blocker for that is when you have the opportunity to hand over an enrolment or change the enroller ID of someone in your team, which helps somebody else to make up to the next rank. If you make that change between the end of the month and the 15th when you get paid, that will actually change the results of the month prior. So if that person's enrolment is critical for making your rank for that current month, we don't want to be passing enrolments over in that period. We want to wait till after payday on the 15th of the following month before we make those enrollership changes. So just a key tip for you there. So let's have a look at dynamic compression. So there's two types of compression, and the first one is regular compression. Basically how that works is that we're getting paid through the first 7 levels of depth in our organisation, but what happens if somebody in those 7 levels doesn't order? Do we just not get that commission, or does it cut the line of commission? The answer is no, it doesn't. What happens is it just skips down to the next person. So if we were, as an example, a person on our first line orders, we would get paid 2% of that. If a person on the second line doesn't order, but the person on the third line does, that would be seen as the second level for the purposes of paying your commission that month. So it's a completely fair system, very egalitarian, where the system really looks to pay out 7 levels of compensation on every single product that's been purchased. Now what's really interesting with doTERRA is that the sweet spot in our organisation, or where the depth and width of our organisation is at its greatest for us to be able to make maximum advantage of the uni-level compensation plan, is actually down around about levels 6, 7, 8 and 9. So that's where your organisation tends to get to its widest before it sometimes and often starts to narrow a little bit after that. So it's important to be building your organisations past 7 levels of depth, because not everybody in those 7 levels is going to order every single month. And if you have people at levels 8 and 9, well then you'll still be able to actually get paid commission on those orders if there's someone between levels 1 and 7, say, that doesn't order. So let's have a look at a detailed example of how compression, both regular compression and dynamic compression, works. It's important, I think, for you to understand how to explain this as well, because when you come across people who are business minded and maybe wanting to take this on as a business with you, it's really critical for you to be able to explain the compensation plan with confidence so that they can understand it. If you get someone that's business minded and who really wants to take this on with you and go for it, they need to know how they're going to earn and how they're going to be able to maximise their earnings from the doTERRA's compensation plan. So this side of the red line, we're looking at regular compression. And what that basically means is that when somebody doesn't order, so let's have a look at an example. If this is you, and here is an example of 11 people down in a line in your organisation, 1 to 11. Now, the first person on your frontline orders, great, that's level 1 and you're getting the 2% paid on that person. The second one orders, you're getting the second level commission, which is 3% for that person, but the third person doesn't order for that month. So what happens here is that the system looks for the next person who has an order in place for you to pay that level 3 or the 5% commission on for that order, and so on. So this person then doesn't order, so no commission here. This one does. This becomes the 4th level, which is actually on your level 6 in your organisation. And as the example continues, this person doesn't order, this person does, so this is looked at as level 5 for the purposes of paying commission. This person orders, it's level 6 for the purpose of paying commission. This one doesn't, but this one does, so you get paid the level 7 commission on this person who's actually on your 11th level in your organisation. So this is how regular compression works, basically when just an order is skipped or someone doesn't order that month. So the system looks to pay out all of those 7 levels of commission to us. Now, what's the difference between regular compression and dynamic compression? So we're looking at that purple chart and we're seeing that the commissions get paid down in levels. So 2% for level 1, 3% for level 2, 5% for level 3, 5% for level 4, 6% on level 5, 6% on level 6 and 7% on level 7. And we're thinking it goes down in our organisation because of how that chart shows us. But in reality, what actually happens is that when an order is placed, so let's look at the example of this bottle of frankincense. So someone buys a bottle of Frankie Boy. What happens is it's the person above them who gets the 2% because the order is on their first line. It's actually on this person's first level. And the person who ordered the frankincense is on this person's second level. Okay, so what happens is the commission actually gets paid upwards from each order. So the bottle of frankincense gets purchased, the person above them gets the 2%, the person above them gets the 3%, This person doesn't order or isn't eligible for commissions because they haven't had a 100-point order placed that month. So it rolls up, and this person on level 4 gets the 5% commission for what would have been level 3, and so on. So this person gets the level 5, this person doesn't order, but this person does, so they get the 6%. This one doesn't. The person on 9 levels above the person who bought the frankincense does order, so they get paid the 6%. But what if we're now going to go to the last level, which is level 7, where there's a 7% commission to be paid? But what if there's no one above this person here at 9 levels above the order who's reached the rank of silver? Because we know that we only get paid all 7 levels of uni level once we've got to the rank of silver or above. So what the system does is it just hunts and finds, even though there's all of these people who've ordered, but they're ranked at elite, elite, premier and elite. None of these people, even though they've ordered, can have that 7th level of uni level at 7% because they haven't reached the rank of silver in that month. So the system just keeps hunting to find a person, and in this case it finds a person who's ranked silver, who's placed their 100 PV order and is eligible to receive that 7% commission, and that's 14 levels up from the person who ordered this frankincense. So that's what's called dynamic compression, because it hunts to find the person who has reached the rank requirement to be paid that commission that month. So it's very, very powerful. So to make sure that you get maximum benefit out of this, you want to make sure that your organisation continues to grow in depth, definitely below the 7 levels, because regular compression and dynamic compression definitely work in your favour when it comes to helping you get maximum benefit out of your organisation. So let's have a look now at the purple table that you see above my shoulder. This is a more detailed graphic, I guess, of the uni-level compensation plan, but it also explains something called the Infinity Performance Pools. Now, this is a leadership performance pool that's for the ranks of silver and above in doTERRA. So you're starting to lead a team, and doTERRA rewards you for that by putting aside a percentage of the organisational volume or the global commissionable volume, so that we as leaders start to share in the company profit. So 3% is set aside, and it's set aside 2% is shared between the silvers, golds and platinums, and 1% is shared between the diamonds, blue diamonds and presidential diamonds in the following way. So if we look at the silver column and we follow it all the way down to where it says leadership performance pools, we'll see the number of shares that a silver gets, and the silver gets 1 share when they make the rank of silver, and this is every single month that they make the rank of silver. A gold gets 5 shares and a platinum gets 10 shares. Now at the moment, a share is worth roughly 180, 190 US dollars. So a silver gets 1 share and a platinum gets 10 shares, so 10 times that amount. So 1800 to 1900 US dollars, and the gold 5 shares, so half of what the platinum gets. If we look below that, it also says 1+ in the table under each of the columns of silver, gold and platinum. Now what that 1+ represents is a bonus share, and the way to qualify for this bonus share is in any month where a personally held enrolment, so someone that you have introduced to doTERRA, makes the rank of elite. When you are either a silver, gold or platinum, you get paid an extra bonus share that month. So if the share is $190 and you're a silver, and one of your people makes it to the rank of elite that you have the enrolment for, you'll get paid a 2nd share on that month, just as a bonus for helping lead that person into that rank of elite and help them move forward. After that, we now look at the ranks of diamond, blue diamond, presidential diamond. So that 1% is broken up: 1 share for diamonds, 2 shares for blue diamonds and 3 shares for presidential diamonds. Okay. Now, why is it 1%? It's smaller than the silvers, golds and platinums in terms of percentage, yes, but there are less people at the rank of diamond, blue diamond and presidential diamonds. So although it's a smaller percentage, it's actually much greater numbers in terms of raw dollar figures. So it's also coupled the performance pools for diamond and above with another 3%, which is called the diamond pools. And this 3% is broken up evenly: 1% for diamonds, 1% for blue diamonds and 1% for presidential diamonds. And they also have the opportunity, just as the silvers, golds and platinums do, to earn extra shares. So if we have a look at the diamond column as an example, and we follow it all the way down, we see diamond performance pool. We see they get 1 share, and then we see the little box that says 1+. Now that 1+ represents an extra share that they would achieve for having a personally held enrolment reach the rank of Premier for the very first time. And then following it further down to the diamond pools, the diamonds get 3 shares of that 1%, plus another 1 share in any month that that person makes the rank of Premier for the very first time. Blue diamond, same if we follow that down, and presidential diamond the same. So what are these shares worth as far as being a diamond, blue diamond and presidential diamond each month? So typically we find that the diamond shares are worth around about the $4,000 per month as part of your compensation for that monthly check. So that's made up of the 2 different pools, the performance pool as well as the diamonds pool. For blue diamond, it fluctuates a little more because some people make their rank each month, and when most blue diamonds make their rank, there's more people sharing in the pool. But the diamond and below pools are extremely stable, and they tend to be very, very close to the previous month's amount, so they don't have much variance at all. The blue diamond pools are anywhere between about $13,000 and $15,000, and the presidential diamond pool is anywhere around about the $30,000 to $35,000 as the pools for both the performance pool and the diamond pool combined. So you can see at that level that being a leader and looking after your team well is rewarded extremely well for you to make your rank every single month. Now, doTERRA has introduced just recently something brand new called the Empowerment Pool, and this is a wonderful bonus for people at the rank of Premier and Silver. So you might have noticed earlier when we were talking about the ranks and what the average income is at those ranks. They're not big numbers necessarily, and of course when you're like any business going through those early stages where you're putting in maybe a lot of effort and not feeling like you're getting all the reward that you're due just yet, which is certainly coming, doTERRA has put in place a bonus called the Empowerment Pool to help you along your way. So the requirements for this bonus is just that you actually enroll 1 person each month with 100 PV or more as the volume of the enrolment, and make your current rank of either Premier or Silver. And provided you do those 2 things, you'll get to share in this empowerment pool, which at the moment again is worth about $190, so 235 Australian dollars. So it's a very powerful thing for people at the rank of Premier who are just starting to get going with doTERRA, starting to see the vision for themselves, but maybe not quite enjoying the income yet. But this is really helpful. So going for that bonus is something that's been great. So all of what we just discussed there is what makes up those global averages that we talked about earlier when we went through the first ranks from manager right through to presidential diamond. But just to recap on those, it's both your weekly fast start check plus all of your monthly check, which is made up of your retail profit, your power of 3 bonus, your uni-level commission, and your performance and leadership pools that make up the global average for each different rank. So just to recap on those, at Elite it's $300 per calendar month, US dollars. At Premier it's $600 is the average. At Silver it's $2,216. At Gold $4,900. At Platinum $9,583 monthly. At Diamond it's $17,083. At Blue Diamond, $38,500 per month, and at Presidential Diamond, $112,750 US dollars per month. And once you've reached the rank of Presidential Diamond, if you're up for it, you can start all over again and have a second account and do everything again if you're crazy enough to go for it. One of the things to be mindful of also is that as you approach each of these ranks, those global averages are made up of everybody at that rank globally. Now, some people structure their business so well that they reach those ranks at a lower organisational volume than someone who's maybe doing it for several years and it's taken a little longer and they've got more people enrolled in their business and therefore have a larger organisational volume. And what can happen is that when you first make the rank, your first check at that rank may be a little lower than the overall average globally. And then in the several months following that, you'll see it sneak up and reach that average and oftentimes exceed it before you move on to your next rank. So hopefully this information has been really great for you and giving you some more clarity around how the compensation plan works. Look forward to you going out there and enjoying it like we have and getting yourselves out of the matrix. Good luck.